Are we live? I don't know if we're live. Can't tell. I think we're live. Did I do this properly? Let's see. Let's see here. How would I figure this out? I used to watch, in the past, I watched a, start sending us your, well, there's no one here, so let me stop. Oh. No. Let's figure it out from here. Yeah. Come on, Abe. Hang out. Settings. Settings. Stream. Yep. That looks fine to me. Appearance. Okay, video. All of this stuff looks good. I'm just looking at stream settings here. Oh, you can see my YouTube recommendation algorithm. It's just nonsense. Just nonsense. Let's pull up. Let's see. There was one thing. What was I are there any Stefan Milo videos? Yeah, I want to watch this one. But we'll get to that in a second. I need to figure this out first. Tab. Let's go to my. Let's do this in a different tab here. Is there a way to look at settings? History. Hey, buddy. Okay, let's do this live. Okay.
We'll guide you through how to stream on YouTube with OBS. If you find this useful, then consider subscribing and liking the video. In this case, I'm just going to keep it simple and add a display capture like so. I can add a webcam and even more things, but I'm just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Then come over and go and click on settings, and I'll go and open up, and come over to the left and go and click on stream. For this service, of course, we need to go and select YouTube, so go and click on it. The easiest way is to connect your account. So click that button. You will be asked to go and choose a Google account, and you need to choose a channel.
Hold on a moment. Quick note. There we go. Oh, so is it this one that's... Should I put stuff in here? See, I think one of the problems is I don't know which desktop. Weird. Very weird. Okay. Okay, bear with me while I figure this out. Let's see.
You want to go and stream on. Then what you need to do the left and go and click on output, and you want to make sure output mode is that's it. Stream on. Then what you need to do is go and allow access for OBS, so I'll press continue, and that's it. Now come over to the left and go and click on output, and you want to make sure output mode is set to simple, and we come into streaming. So first of all, we need to decide what our bitrate is going to be. To do that, open up your web browser and you want to come to a site called speedtest.net.
Yeah, I already did all
Here you can test your internet. I can go and see my upload speed is linked down. We can find YouTube. We can then the P2. ACP is going to be a pretty so now we can come and return to OBS.
I'm just trying to figure out how to set this up because for me the you can't see anything that I'm doing, so I'm just watching a video about how to set up the live streaming. So, but thanks for joining.
In 8,000, which it already is at. Folder for one in the bottom. 60, 30 would be fine as well though.
Video, okay, video. Right. Interesting. 60? That looks good, right? That's fine. We'll go with this for now. Whoop. Oop. Oop. What are we doing? What are we doing? Where'd it go? What the heck? Oh, I see. There we go.
Oh, if you're finding you experience lag on your stream, you can go and decrease your resolution and the FPS as well. And what you can do is click apply in the bottom right. And what you can then do, links, and then for the camera thumbnail left, the Arsman come to YouTube and you can go to the top left and click on created. The stream here. Over it's live, and you should go and see your broadcast here we just created.
Okay, let's check that out. Let's see, I don't know if okay. Live. Oh, there we go. Okay, so right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Then what you want to do is hover over it.
I'm just figuring this all out, so thanks for your patience. This is only the second live stream I've ever done, and I kind of forget what I did the first time. So.
And click on View in Live Control Room, so you can then go.
Oh, View in Live Control Room. Interesting. View in Live Control Room. This is a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look for you all. You get to see how the sausage is made here. Okay. Aha! I'm in the control room. That's cool. All right. I think we've got it. I think it's working. Yeah. Okay, sweet. So this seems to be working now. Okay, cool. Boy, that was confusing. I hope you can all see me now. Now let's figure out how to put something on the desktop. Because I think you still can't see. Like, why can't you see my desktop? That's so weird. Okay. Screen capture. Go like that, it goes away, right? So that's definitely the thing. But I only have a couple desktops open. That's just nonsense. Huh. So confusing. So what the heck is that? All right, I'm just going to redo it. I'm just going to remove it. Remove. Yes. Now we're going to add a source and just do it again. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay. Okay. Closer. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Why is it black? What in the world? Is it because it's only showing? Oh, this one? No. Shoot. Weird. This is so weird, guys. I'm just trying to watch some archaeology news. What am I doing wrong? Why isn't that showing? Why is that not showing? Okay, let's remove it. Yes, let's do it again. Add source. Okay. Ah, there we go. Now it's working. Show cursor, hide OBS from capture. Oh, but it's doing this screen. I don't want it to show this screen, do I? No. Cancel. No. Remove. Yes. Okay, maybe I have to start it on the screen that I want it to be on. Maybe that's the key. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're almost there. Is that it? Is that working? I'm gonna just go with it. I'm gonna say yes. But why is it? Whoa, what the heck? Okay, I think it's working now. But now I have to... Okay, I think that's good enough, right? I think that's good enough. But I have to like resize this now. So it's not enormously... Gosh, this stuff is so complicated. Thank you all for bearing with me while I figure this out. I think that's pretty good, right? We can move YouTube up here. Hey,
Go and see the stream here. Now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this should be about right. Okay, all right. I think we're here. Thank you, guys. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for... Man, that was a rough start to this live stream. This is only the second time I've ever done this, so thanks for sitting through it with me. Let's see. I'll pull this over here so we don't have to look at that anymore. Do we even need that? Well, I'll keep it up anyway. But cool. Great. Okay, so I wanted to catch up. I don't have much going on today. I do have a few things. Buried City, Ancient Nashville. It's very interesting. All right, well, maybe we'll add that to the list. Time travel history. I want to catch up on some videos from my favorite YouTubers that I haven't seen yet. That's pretty much my only plan for tonight, is to just hang out and chat with you guys. I think I'll go over some... I might do some stuff for the channel, because I have to figure out where I'm going to go this weekend, or what exactly I'm going to do for the channel this weekend. The thing is, there are a few major events. The first one is that tomorrow is... It's either tomorrow or maybe it's Saturday, actually. I think it's the 10th. January 10th is the anniversary of the publication of Common Sense by Thomas Paine. So Thomas Paine was, he was a thinker. I guess you could call him a founding father, right? He was very much he was important to the early revolution, because he published a pamphlet that was very influential to how the early Americans thought of themselves. You have to realize two things to say first. that what is a pamphlet? The history of the pamphlet is actually very interesting. Um, to give some context, pamphlets were explicitly political back then. Not explicitly, but they were very good for politics. Let's put it that way. The politics were. By the way, can everybody hear me? Can you just in the chat, if you can hear me, just say we can hear you, something like that. That would be helpful. I hope you can hear me. Um, Let me know if you can see my screen and everything's working too. That'd be very helpful. Thank you. But yeah, so pamphlets were very important to the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and also thanks time travel history. Okay, glad you can hear me. Um, the the pamphlet was most famously used. So you have to remember, in the Middle Ages, publishing a book was very difficult. Books were very rare. There weren't they weren't everyday items. I have books all over the place here, but in the Middle Ages and before, in ancient history, ancient times, books were very rare, and that was because they were very costly to produce. You had to spend many hours writing books, and it took a lot of research and time to learn how to write. People weren't literate. Literacy wasn't very widespread, so books were rare. Now, when the printing press was invented, that began this process of spreading books farther and wider through society. And the printing press, when was the printing press invented? The printing press was invented in 1458 in Mainz, Germany, by Johannes Gutenberg, right? So the Gutenberg Bible. Now, why was the Bible the first book that was printed? I mean, there were other books, but why the Bible? That is because in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church controlled everything. The Catholic Church controlled all of Europe. They controlled the flow of information, and they, of course, wanted to print more Bibles so that people could read the Word of God, right? So the very first printing presses were used to produce Bibles. Now, the thing is, I'm not going to get the history exactly correct, but essentially, what ended up happening is, you, in order to make it financially viable to print books were expensive to print because there were many pages in a row, and then they had binding, but printing those pages was very expensive. So the way the early printing press, the early printers made money was by volume. They would get orders from the Catholic Church of, like, 1,000 Bibles or something like that, 300 Bibles, whatever it is, and then based on the volume of the order, they could justify the financial expense of buying all the ink, buying all the paper, and then actually running the press and hiring all the workers to run the press and all of that. All of that took a lot of money, so the larger orders would justify the expense and make it profitable to run the printing presses. Now, the thing is, running the printing presses was very costly because each page was different. So what they used to do is they'd make these plates of each page, and then in the form of typeset, these, like, basically they were letters. They would arrange all the letters for one page of the Bible, and then they'd use that same typeset like thousands of times to print the same page over and over and over again. Then they'd change all the letters around and they print the next page over and over and over again, hundreds of times, thousands of times. And then they keep doing that until they had printed 300 Bibles. Well, this guy, his name was Martin Luther. Martin Luther was sort of anti the Pope, if you know anything about Protestantism, and he basically was like, why are we following all these rules? The Catholic Church, most famously, tithing was a big big issue for people. And he didn't like tithing. He didn't like other things about the Catholic Church. And one thing is, Martin Luther himself, he was kind of a madman. He was sort of a notorious person. He he was, let's put it this way, I guess you could use the word narcissistic. He just loved attention. So he was a bit of a rabble rouser. He was known for causing lots of controversy. And let's see, can we scroll here? Let's see, birth and early life education. There are all sorts of interesting anecdotes about, him causing issues. And let me see if Wikipedia has any of them. Well, you can read his Wikipedia page and kind of get a sense. But one thing he did was he realized, like, hey, I don't want to print a whole Bible. I just want to get my ideas out there. And the printing presses were geared to print books. So they said, well, we can only print you 1,000 books. We can't, we need you to send us a massive order for hundreds of books or hundreds, we need you to write a book and then send us enough funds to cover the printing of hundreds of books. And Martin Luther didn't have enough money. He was sort of said, well, hey, I don't have enough money to order 1,000 books or a couple hundred books to be printed. And instead, can you just print me one page over and over and over again? And I'll just buy one set. I'll just pay per order of page, right? And then he just decided to hand out pages. And so he did this, and that's right, time travel history. He nailed the 95 theses to the church. And the theses, was it 95 theses? That's a lot. That's more than I expected. But yeah, the 95 theses were this pamphlet you can see. It was like he nailed one page. Now this wasn't a book. It was a page. And you have to understand, this was mind-blowing. This was like, people hadn't seen pages very often, let alone informative pamphlet pages like this. This was very rare. So to hold a piece of paper, and again, books were very rare in general, so not many people had seen paper and writing. These were like very rare objects. And so to hold a piece of paper like this in your hand in the Middle Ages was mind-blowing. It was like seeing the first iPhone. You have to realize it was very much like seeing the first iPhone or seeing the first personal computer. Do you remember what the first time you ever saw a personal computer? It was like, what is this? So people would take these pamphlets and they just pass them around as almost as novelty items. And so, because maybe they'd seen one book in their whole life, let alone just pages and pages. And so Martin Luther got his ideas out there by publishing single pages instead of whole books. And that's the history of the pamphlet. These became called pamphlets. And a good analogy for this is the difference between a newspaper, or even, let's put it this way, the difference between a website and a tweet. So, in the 90s and the early 2000s, you would go online and there'd be these web pages and blogs, and there were very interesting blogs where you could read long articles about topics. But then in the mid to late 2000s, Twitter was invented, and tweets were famously 140 characters. That's it. There was a limit. So they were just for quick ideas, right? And that was mind-blowing, and people couldn't look away. Twitter went viral, people adopted it. Arguably led to the election of a president, right? And now it's, Twitter is, we all know the history of Twitter. And so this is the analogy from a blog post to a tweet is very similar to a blog post is to a tweet as a book is to a pamphlet. And they had the same effect in the 1500s. So the pamphlets went viral so to speak, in the 1500s. And that's why Martin Luther, he capitalized on this new medium of the pamphlet to get his ideas out there. And the form of the pamphlet is, in itself, by its very form, it's anti-papist. It's against the church because it's one page and it's a man's writing, just a guy about writing about his own ideas about religion, as opposed to a book written by God, the Bible, right? The Bible is the word of God. And so the very form of the pamphlet was seen as subversive, just the same way that a tweet was seen as subversive when Twitter first came out. Um, and so the pamphlets played a very important role in political life from the 1500s through to the 1800s. Really, they kind of, I think by the late 1900s, I don't know if pamphlets were as big of a deal because newspapers came along, and really supplanted the pamphlet. Newspapers are essentially a bunch of pamphlets stuck together. That's kind of how they started. They were just like collections of pamphlets. That's my understanding. So the thing is, the pamphlets were very important for the the English Revolution, the American Revolution, but especially the French Revolution. The French Revolution was where pamphlets really took over and essentially allowed the 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 people of Paris and the French to communicate with each other in an unfettered way, in a way that couldn't be censored by the King of France, and that led to the overthrow. So that's a brief history of the pamphlet. Now, let's talk about Thomas Paine. So Thomas Paine wrote this pamphlet, um, and he was writing a pamphlet in order specifically against a king. And as I said, the pamphlets were very political in that they were used to speak truth to power. Martin Luther spoke truth to the Pope. Then, in the French Revolution, the people of France wrote pamphlets against the French king, and they were inspired in part by the American Revolution, where Thomas Paine wrote this pamphlet to against the King of England. Now, what made common sense? Again, by the way, for everyone who's just joining, I'm talking about common sense because in 2 days is the 350th anniversary of the publication of Common Sense and the Rights of Man. And that happened 250 years ago. And at this point in the revolution, in the American Revolution, the Lexington and Concord had happened already, last year in April. Then the Second Continental Congress met in May, and commissioned George Washington to take over, to form an army, to form the Continental Army. George Washington went up to Boston and laid siege to Boston. There was a very rough winter that they had to survive in Boston. It was very brutal. Cambridge, the Harvard Square became a military encampment. So Harvard University is a military site. The winter was so difficult that men were dying of thirst and hunger, or disease. Especially, there was at the same time as the start of the war, there was a an outbreak of disease. I believe it was smallpox that was killing. Smallpox killed many soldiers and many people throughout the 13 colonies. So it was a very rough time, and and there was this sort of weariness. There was this sense of, oh my gosh, are we really as a country going to stand up to a king? And are we going to, is that even morally justified? People weren't confident in the revolution yet. And they were watching as in things went to hell in Boston and people were dying of disease. Bunker Hill didn't go well as a battle. The Bunker Hill was essentially a defeat. It was a rout. Many people got killed. They did put up a good show of force, and it was the most destructive battle for the British military in many centuries per capita. But still, it was very it was a very scary time, and people hadn't fully thought of themselves as different than the British. There was still this feeling that the reason they were fighting and the reason that the revolution was happening at all, it wasn't really a revolution so much as a war for rights. The colonies wanted to stay with the British Empire, but they wanted to advocate for their rights to the king. And then there was this hope that the Parliament in Britain, in London, could come to some agreement with the colonists to allow the colonies back into the empire as equals. And so you had a lot of people who were of that opinion that, hey, we don't want to start our own country. We just want to rejoin the British Empire on equal footing as as citizens of the British Empire. But then Thomas Paine published Common Sense, and he spoke in a way that was very plain. And he said things that were on people's minds. Namely, he said the king and monarchy in general was a bad idea. You have to remember, at this time in history, there were no republics. Everywhere was monarchy. I'm pretty sure that's true. I don't think there were any republics in the entire world. The standard government, the standard form of government, was monarchy. There was, I don't even think the English Revolution didn't result in a true republic. It resulted in a monarchy with a parliament, right? So there were people who didn't even believe republics were possible. There were people who thought that a government without a monarch would fail, that such an idea was ludicrous, that you could have a functioning government without a monarch. That they also believed that, how dare you speak ill of a king? The King of England is your father in a certain sense. Like, this is your family. The King of England cares about you as his subject, that he was here to protect you as a British subject. So it's morally offensive to speak ill of the king. And here comes Thomas Paine with Common Sense. And Common Sense is basically a book. It's a long pamphlet, but it's a book. It's a pamphlet. I don't know. Would you call this? Look at how long it is. Is this a book or a pamphlet or something in between? It's at least a long pamphlet. And he basically talks about how throughout human history, monarchs have been pretty bad. That if they really are ordained by God, and that if God is if God is saying monarchies are good, then why are they so despotic? Why are monarchies always torturing people, starting wars, mismanaging finances, making people poor? Like, it just doesn't seem like monarchs work very well, right? And Thomas Paine published this pamphlet telling Americans, look, we have an opportunity to get rid of this destructive, pathological issue in human history. We have this golden right to assert our liberty against a king, against the idea of a monarchy. Let's get rid of this sinful, destructive habit that humans have of worshiping a sovereign king and take sovereignty for ourselves. Let's start a postscript, or let's start a republic. And in the postscript to the preface of the third edition, he says, is it here? Yeah, he says this interesting line, which I think is really, it speaks to his wisdom. Thomas Paine had wisdom about this. He said, "Who the author of this production is wholly unnecessary to the public, as the object for attention is the doctrine itself, not the man. Yet it Thomas Paine is saying, it doesn't matter who I am. The doctrine is what matters." it may not be necessary to say that he is unconnected with any party and under no sort of influence, public or private, but the influence of reason and principle. So Thomas Paine is saying, hey, look, I'm just writing this because I have principle and reason. I'm not being bought. I'm not being paid to say this. There's no political party that's influencing me to say this, and I have no private gain. I'm not going to gain anything privately or publicly from saying this. This just needs to be said. And I think that's really special. I think that's a really good thing that he said. And then there's, of course, Philadelphia, February 14th, 1776. Now, it says February 14th, but it was actually published on January 10th. And this is a postscript because there was a delay in some aspect of the publication. I just want to read a little bit of this, of Common Sense. I'm going to do a better, more in-depth reading of this for my other channel, which, if you haven't seen, my other channel is Founding Fathers Letters. It's not very active, but I'm going to do something for it for the publication of Common Sense. So go to Founding Fathers Letters on YouTube if you want to see some other stuff I've worked on. But just let's get a sense of Common Sense here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. I had this issue last time. I couldn't really zoom in. Okay, no zooming, but here we go. Common Sense on the Origin and Design of Government in General, with concise remarks on the English Constitution. Some writers have so confounded society with government as to leave little or no distinction between them, whereas they are not only different, but have different origins. Society is produced by our wants, and government is produced by our wickedness. Okay? Society is produced by our wants, and government is produced by our wickedness. Meaning, government is there because we need to control ourselves. We do bad things. But society is there because we want to be together. We as human beings, we want to work together. We want to live together. We want things. Government is there because we are wicked and we do bad things and we need to be stopped. Someone needs to control us. The former promotes our happiness positively by uniting our affections, meaning society wants us to, it unites us. The latter negatively by restraining our vices. The one encourages intercourse, the other creates distinctions. The first is a patron, the last a punisher. Okay? Society in every state is a blessing, but government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. For when we suffer, we are exposed to the same miseries by a government which we might expect in a country without government. Our calamity is heightened by reflecting that we furnish the means by which we suffer. Government, like dress, is the badge of lost innocence. The palaces of kings are built upon the ruins of the bowers of paradise. For were the impulses of conscience clear, uniform, and irresistibly obeyed, man would need no other lawgiver. But that not being the case, he finds it necessary to surrender up a part of his property to furnish means for the protection of the rest, and this he is induced to do by the same prudence which in every other case advises him out of two evils to choose the least. Wherefore, security being the true design and end of government, it unanswerably follows that whatever form thereof appears most likely to ensure it to us with the least expense and the greatest benefit is preferable to all others. So he's basically saying, we need government, but it's really bad when government makes us suffer worse than if it didn't exist at all, right? And he builds this argument. You can just get a sense of the writing. The writing is so beautiful. So on this anniversary that's coming up of the publication of Common Sense, I hope you take some time to read it and get a sense for his argument against monarchy. Why do we not have kings in America? You know. So I want to skip down to this section here and just read some of this, because this is sort of the meat and potatoes in some ways. Absolute governments, though the disgrace of human nature, have this advantage with them: they are simple. If the people suffer, they know the head from which their suffering springs, know likewise the remedy, and are not bewildered by a variety of causes and cures. Meaning, if in an absolute government, if things go bad, you know the king is responsible. That's it. But the Constitution of England is so exceedingly complex that the nation may suffer for years together without being able to discover in which part the fault lies. Some will say in one, and some will say in another. And every political physician will advise a different medicine. I know it is difficult to get over local or long-standing prejudices, yet if we will suffer ourselves to examine the component parts of the English Constitution, we shall find them to be the base remains of two ancient tyrannies, compounded with some new republican materials. First, the remains of monarchical tyranny in the person of the king. Second, the remains of aristocratical tyranny in the persons of the peers. Now, peers were elites. Thirdly, the new republican materials in the persons of the commons, whose virtue depends on whose virtue depends the freedom of England. The two first, by being hereditary, are independent of the people, wherefore, in a constitutional sense, they contribute nothing towards the freedom of the state. Therefore, to say that the Constitution of England is a union of three powers reciprocally checking each other is farcical. Either the words have no meaning, or they are flat contradictions. To say that the Commons is a check upon the king presupposes two things. First, that the king is not to be trusted without being looked after, or in other words, that a thirst for absolute power is the natural disease of monarchy. And secondly, that the Commons, by being appointed for that purpose, are either wiser or more worthy of confidence than the crown. See? So what he's saying is basically the king and the rich people, which were called peers, the oligarchs and the merchants and the people who were noble, the nobility in England, the kings and the nobles and the rich people, they weren't really beholden to the parliament, to the commons. The people of England had no check on them. There was this idea that the king had this fatherly reciprocal relationship with the subjects, with the people of England. But he points out that this sort of makes no sense, because if that's true, then we should just get rid of the king. Because if the king is there but needs to be looked after, which meaning that the king has this tendency towards wanting more power and greed, and the people have the ability to check him, well, let's just get rid of him and just have the people do what's right, because the people know better, right? And that's the American way. The second thing is, we well, those are both the ideas. So anyway, I just wanted to, those are sort of the core arguments, some of them at least, and it goes on for a long time. So I wanted to go over that just to start. So Anyway, let's see who's here. We've got quite a few people now. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see what the comments are saying. You can visit Paine Cottage in New Rochelle, New York. Alan Kruger. Thank you. I didn't know that. Okay. I'll go check. We'll look into that maybe. John, it's not you, it's Tech. John Connor. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Is that from Terminator? That reference? Yeah, nice. Confederacy influenced the U.S. The Haudenosaunee. Oh yeah, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy influenced the U.S. Constitution and was a democratic native society since 1142 CE. That's true. I didn't remember the name of the. Let's look that up. Thank you for mentioning that because that's absolutely true. In fact, that's what the fact that the U.S. Constitution includes the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, or it was inspired by. There are parts of the Constitution that are modeled after the Iroquois Confederacy. The fact that the U.S. Constitution is modeled in part after this Confederacy of the Iroquois Confederacy makes the U.S. Constitution a uniquely American document. It is uniquely American because in many ways the U.S. Constitution is the fusion of native politics and native governance with European politics and European governance. And the key distinction here is encapsulated in Thomas Paine's Common Sense, the removal of the king. Because it's a confederacy, there is no king. So, yes. Very good point. Very good point. Power-hungry king with spineless subjects. Sounds like we're still on the ye familiar wheel. I hope not. I sure hope not. Mr. Paine makes some good points. Still true today. Yes, he does. That's right. Oh, we have a visitor. Look who it is. Look who it is. It's Mr. Abe. Ta-da! Let's see if we can make Mr. Abe a bigger part of the story here. Because we don't really need to worry about all that negative politics stuff and kings and whatnot. I'm wearing black again, sorry, so it's hard to see him. But there he is. Abe. See, I'm boring and I ramble, and Abe makes everything better, right? I should probably stop talking about these things and just bring Abe. Here he is. What you doing, buddy? Yeah. I don't know if you can't really. I don't think you can hear it, but he's purring. He's purring up a storm. Yeah, so he's here. It's just hard to see him. Just a little hard to see him, but he's here. Let's see. Abe is. It's so we don't know exactly how old he is because I found him on the street, but the estimate is that he's about 2 years old, maybe 3, but probably 2 years old, 2.5, something like that. Right? Born in the spring of. He would have been born in the spring or summer of 2024. Yeah. So he'll have his 3rd birthday soon, in a couple months. So there we go. I think they survived my little rant about Thomas Paine and pamphlets and all of that. Yeah? I think we all got through it. Okay. Now, I actually, for this stream, I really just wanted to watch some archaeology YouTube. I hope, I'll look at the, I'll look at the comments and we'll do some commentary on some of these things. But there are just some archaeology YouTube videos I haven't seen in a while, or I haven't caught up on yet. And I figured,
guys, look at this.
I figured we could catch up together. So what do you think? Me and Abe will just sit here, and if you have any questions or want to chat about anything, you know, let's drop a comment. Let's see what Stephen Milo has to say. Let me readjust here. I think that's pretty good. Hopefully you can see the screen still. And we'll just, is it Milo or Milo? I always get it confused. I know there's this other YouTube archaeology guy who goes by Milo Razi, is it? And then this is Stefan Milo? Something. I'm not sure. But let's see what he has to say. So he's talking about, I think these are what? The Easter Island heads? They're really big.
Boom. Boom. That moai. Huge moai, massive moai, 200 ton moai, 20 meters. Easy peasy. Check out this part here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moai. All collapsed.
Wow.
In a
So you can see they're all sort of built together, aren't they?
line.
Yeah, sorry, Kimberly. I did get your email. I just, I could reply to them now. I just haven't done it. I'm sorry. I'm so bad. But I will be doing my emails and catching up, and I will reply to all of the emails. I grew up around Aston, Chester area, so I'll definitely add it to the list. In fact, we could take a quick look at the map here, because I know that's what you guys like to see, right? You want to see the map? Aston is, where is Aston? It's somewhere down here, right? A diner. There used to be a diner. Oh, what was it? I feel like it was on Concord Road, or it was on, no, I think it was on 452. There used to be a diner somewhere here. And I used to go there with my friends in high school. Yeah, the Aston Diner, right there. Bingo. Pretty sure that's it. Let's take a look. Yeah, I used to go to the Aston Diner all the time. All the time. Yeah. A lot of memories in this diner. It was really fun. I think there was a rumor. Now I didn't know anything about this when I was going, but I think some of my friends knew that if you went there, you could get they would serve you alcohol underage. I think so. That was 20 years ago, but I think that used to be a thing. Some high schoolers would go there to get alcohol. I think, or they'd let you sneak it in. And Zach's Hamburgers. Oh my gosh! If you're ever in Delco, go to Zach's Hamburgers, because Zach's Hamburgers, amazing hamburgers. That's what I was remembering. I was like, there was a burger place next to the diner, right? So we used to go to the burger place and the Aston Diner all the time. All the time. Now I think Zach's Hamburgers is a chain. It's a local chain, but it's like from the 40s or the 50s or something. So nostalgic. It's just like very old-timey Delco. Yeah, look at that. Look at that font on Zach's Hamburgers. Awesome. And they're really good hamburgers. They're really, really good. If you like hamburgers, and they're sort of 1950s style, so they're the patties are a little smaller. They come wrapped up you get a box of them. They're served in a box, which is fun. Yeah, this is what oh my gosh. Oh, this is like, yeah, this is making my mouth water. Oh my God, they're so good. They are so good. Zach's is expensive? Oh my gosh, really? That's crazy. Why is it expensive? It shouldn't be. I remember I used to go there. I ran cross country in high school. I used to go to Zach's Hamburgers after running, and I'd eat like 8 of them. It was crazy. I would sit there for like 3 hours and just eat. It was awesome. I would eat so many of these burgers. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but oh, look at this. That's crazy. They shouldn't be that expensive. Let's see. What can you do? 5 for 6. Oh, that's buffalo wings. Where are the Where are the burgers? Burgers. Bacon cheeseburger for $3.79 is not bad. I don't know. Is that expensive? I guess when we were younger, they were definitely like $1 or $2, right? But that's still pretty good. Is that a recent? That's a recent. That's like a year ago. Have they gone up now? Zach's used to serve huge burgers for relatively cheap. Burgers are small now. Oh, they cut the sizes. I see. Okay. Well, I remember them being cheap and good, and too bad. Too bad. But yeah, Zach's. A lot of good memories at Zach's. A lot of good memories at the Aston Diner. Yep. Yep, good times. So I'll add that to the list. I guess there's Newman. I guess somewhere probably in here along Chester Creek is where there would be some Lenape activity. We can mark, like, here's a little, what's this little tributary? Chrome Run. That looks interesting. Let's take a look at the overhead here. I wonder if we can get a topography. Is there a topography map? Terrain? Let's see. No, that's not very helpful. I guess it's pretty flat. It's some little spots here. Oh, okay. So there's a little bridge. There's the creek. Ooh, nice. Good creek walking opportunity here. Here's the thing, though. This path, look how they've cleared on either side. So all of this has been cleared recently. Doesn't mean they dug down, but is that a sewer hole? Yeah, so there's a manhole there. So there would have been substantial... Ooh, yeah, look at that. Dang. So on this side of the bridge, at least, there would have been substantial work that's been done on both sides of the creek. Very unlikely that anything ancient would have survived. Although, if it survived, it'd probably be deeper down. So this actually wouldn't be a bad spot to do a little creek walking. You could walk back up in there into this patch of woods. Let's see if we can get a... wait. Let me expand this. And let's see here. Let's put them... Well, first of all, let's see what's up here. Okay, so we got high ground on that side of the road. And this house. So this house might be sitting on native land. Well, I mean, obviously it is, but there might have been... you know, that person's yard would be a good spot to check out. Let's go down here. Yeah, so like back in these bushes is where I'd look. Yeah, this overgrown patch right there. That's where I'd start looking, somewhere there. Let me see if I can. Wait a sec. Wait a sec. I gotta mark it. I gotta add a mark. Did I do this wrong? Okay. Okay, so let's... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Add... Share this location, add a missing place, report a data problem. No. There we go. So I dropped that. And now, how do I save it? Fart. Fudge McGee. Did I lose it? Ah. Is it that? No. Did I lose it? Shoot. Well, there's Zach's hamburgers. So we can just go right back to it. Okay. Dang. See, I gotta get better at adding places here. Ah, there we go. I gotta click on the add it to the ancient place. Okay, there we go. So I've added a spot here to check. That was actually a lot easier. So I'll do that from now. Now I've figured out how to add stuff. So when you drop things in the chat, I'll just go find them, and I can add it to the list and look around a little bit. Anyone else wanna? Let's look around Aston a little more. I mean, from up here, from zooming out, you can see the topography a lot better. So you can see how the creeks come down into these valleys. Like this would be an interesting ridge. Let's put the man. Well, let's take a look at the. Yeah, there's a house there, but let's see if there's what's at the end of this cul-de-sac. So there's a house. There are houses. It's probably all private property back in those woods. But is there a trail between the houses? They probably wouldn't. The neighbors here probably wouldn't appreciate me walking back in there, would they? No. It's too bad. Sometimes at the end of cul-de-sacs, there will be a public path. So I'd have to look for a different way in. I wonder if I could ford the creek from over here. Let's see. Yeah, I bet I could just pop down. Okay, yeah, I could just pop down here and then go look in this gully and see. The thing is, I don't see much flat ground, so I'm not sure there would be a settlement necessarily, but you never know. Let's see if we can move the man. Hello, Mr. Man. Oh, we can't go down that one. Let's come down to here. Let's see what's down here. Oh, interesting. It's just an interesting spot, you know. Look at this road. Small little road. It's on a 5-point road. Lots of history near Aston. Yeah, I bet there is. Be interesting to know the history of the 5-point road there. The 5-point intersection. Yeah, I'm happy to show my process. If you guys have any, I'll just, maybe that's what we'll do. So this is investigating Aston, PA, and I'll just go up the creeks. We'll go around and look around at different spots that I see. That's more interesting anyway, and I'll just mark stuff. One thing I do have to do is I have to do more research because I do have a lot of places to visit, but I'm always looking for more, and I think it's important to document potential spots. So yeah, let's just do that. That's more interesting than watching Stefan Milo anyway, right? All right. I have a sick pup here, so I'll watch this later. Take care. Oh, take care, Kimberly. See you later, Kimberly Lou. The King's Chamber in Putnam Valley, New York might be a cool place to check out. Okay, let's see. Let me look at this real quick, and then we'll check that out. Yeah, so this little run comes in. Chrome Run really goes for a while, doesn't it? Chrome Run. So that's a pretty significant little run. How far does it go? Oh, it goes up to Granite Run? It goes to Riddle Hospital. Wow. Interesting. Look at that. That's a major creek. So this creek goes all the way up to Granite Run. There used to be a mall, Granite Run Mall. It's gone now. That's beautiful. Look at this. That is a beautiful little intersection, isn't it? I wonder if back in there would be something. Looks undeveloped, relatively. What's that? Oh, wait. There's a driveway right here. There's a house. But yeah, I wonder if back in those... Let me zoom in a little bit again. Let's see what we're looking at from above. Yeah, okay. So this little spot just up from this juncture looks relatively flat. Are there really two streams there? I don't see a second one. Do you see another stream? Is there another stream under that bush? Or I don't know. Oh, posted. Shoot. Whoa, what did I just do? Whoa, that was bizarre. Didn't mean to do that. Controlling this is a little bit cumbersome, but okay. Dang, there's a posted sign there. So this is private property. Can't go in there. Darn it. Dang it. I don't know though. Don't we have right of way on creeks? Let me look this up real quick. Right of way creek. Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, the public generally has the right to use navigable creeks and rivers for recreation by staying in the water or near the low water mark, as the Commonwealth owns the bed to the ordinary low water mark for navigable streams. For non-navigable streams, the adjacent landowner usually owns the stream bed, but still must allow public passage over the land to access navigable waters. So the key is navigable. The key is that the public can use the water itself but cannot trespass on private upland property to get to it or move around. So it's best to stay in the water or follow signs, especially on posted properties, as some private owners claim authority. So it's kind of hit or miss, right? That's just the AI summary. Let's look at what Reddit says. My mom proposed taking a creek walk. I expressed some concerns about the legality of potentially walking on private property. Her husband declared that people can't own waterways, so it's entirely legal to walk in whichever creeks we want. Yes. Well, it should be, but I tried to research it, but all the sites seem to offer the answers are behind paywalls. Can we walk in creeks and is it potentially trespassing? This would be in Montgomery County in case that's relevant. Best bet is probably a state park for this kind of thing. Yeah, agreed. That's true. But we still want to know. Start here, then read here. Keep in mind the map comes big disclaimer saying it's only the state's unlitigated opinion. If an owner really wants to, they will take you to civil court and try to argue against the designate. So it's kind of a bad idea, right? Yeah. Kind of a bad idea. Let me just finish this up. What about Greenland? I used to work for a government agency and if you're in navigable water, it's owned by the state. So navigable, I guess that and the surface you walk on. This also goes for tidal water, tidal high water mark, which is usually determined by the vegetative growth on the banks of the water. If you're in navigable waters, you are allowed portage on either side of the body of water to get around any object. If it was once used to commercial use, it is always navigable. Many streams and tributaries were once used for commerce. This is any type of trade, travel, or commerce-related thing. Non-navigable waters, the landowner has rights under the stream bed, which means you could be trespassing. Yeah. So, I think we're pretty much out of luck when it comes to this one because of that posted sign. I think. Not entirely sure. I mean, I could just walk. I don't know. Do you think anybody would really care if I got in that creek and just walked around? Maybe I'll do it anyway. We'll see. Yeah, that looks like a really good spot. So, shall we put a marker there just for a little tentative look around sort of thing, let's do it. Let me practice this real quick. Let's get out of here. Okay, we got that. Click on that. Save. Ancient places. Okay, great. So we got another marker out of this. Now, you were saying time travel history. You were saying Indian villages and place names. Oh yeah, that's a book. I have a book. That's cool. Indian villages and place names in Pennsylvania. That seems pretty cool. I want to check that out. But you were saying the King's Chamber in Putnam Valley. The King's Chamber, Putnam Valley. How far up are we? Oh, okay. So just north of New York. Look at all the lakes. Man, there's so many lakes in this area. This is a part of New York I pretty much never go. I should. Wow, so many Indian names. Mahopac Falls, Oscawana Lake, Wayanda Lake. Very cool. All right, so you're saying there's a thing there, huh? Some sort of a stone? No, that's... It's a pre-colonial stone chamber. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. So the next step, usually this is my process. I'm just showing you guys how I do this. So okay, so let's see. Let's see if anybody else. The King's Chamber, Putnam Valley. Let's see what the internet says. Ancient ruins or root cellars. You decide on adventurous trek to King's Chamber. Oh, wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. King's Chamber, way beyond strange stone sculptures built by aliens, druids, or just another root cellar. Yeah, in terms of... It's an easy hike. I would not recommend this hike for beginner, blah, blah, blah. I ain't no beginner. Make a right and continue. If you fail to... Okay, drive. Okay. No. Is this actually going to say if there's evidence, or is it just... No, it doesn't say anything. So, let's back out of this. King's Chamber, Mystery Shrouds. Putnam Stone Chambers. Okay. Whoa. Compelling archaeological mystery. Compelling archaeological mysteries can spark centuries or even millennia of conjecture, and while they may be passionate, arguments often fail to produce definitive answers. What lies behind the Egyptian and Mayan pyramids? How can the giant Moai statues on Easter Island be explained? How and why was Stonehenge created? Add to that list... Wow, what an introduction. Add to that list a more local and perhaps equally intriguing question. What is the true origin and purpose of Putnam County's stone chambers? Some feel they are as mysterious as Stonehenge. Others believe there is no mystery at all. The debate is centuries old, but, like its more famous counterparts in history, this is a continuing disagreement. I see. So they are. There's a picture of. It's cool that the tree. So the fact that the tree is growing out of the top does mean that it's old, but that's probably a new growth tree. It's not an old growth tree. Okay. How do I... There's no X. Shoot, what the heck? Oh, there we go. Okay, the most common theory is that the chambers are often built into hillsides, feature massive entrance, are root cellars constructed by colonial farmers who first settled the region. To be perfectly honest, that would be my guess as well. It's the most logical answer, but it would be cool if it's wrong, if it's older. The others strongly believe the structures had a religious or ceremonial purpose and are much older, constructed during pre-Columbian times by Celts, Vikings, Iberians, Carthaginians, or Native Americans. All right, definitely not Celts, Vikings, or Iberians, or Carthaginians. That's awesome. Okay, the one area of agreement is the chambers are man-made, and that the greatest number of them, up to 200, are in Putnam County. Within Putnam, they are most common in Kent, Putnam Valley, and Mahopac. Few are found in Phillipstown. They're also located in Westchester County and parts of Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Okay, they're corbelled, 30 feet long, 6 feet in height, large granite slabs. In an article in New York Times in 2001, Robert Funk, former chief archaeologist for the New York State Museum, said the chambers have never been seriously studied because nobody has ever produced any evidence of anything but colonial origin. He debunked the notion that they were built by visitors from the other side of the Atlantic. There are no Celtic ruins in the New World, and certainly not in Putnam County. It's a romantic idea, and people want to believe, almost like a religion. Okay, well, dude, how do you know, Mr. Archaeologist, right? No, he's probably right. Whatever. A decade earlier, in an extensive 1990 article on Putnam Valley's chambers, published in Hudson Valley Regional Review, Thaddeus Cook and Barbara Doyle took the same view, arguing that the colonial root cellar hypothesis has been confirmed through oral traditions many times, both in Putnam County and New England. Okay. Rene Fleury pointed to evidence that raises questions. Fleury founded Celtic Energy Paranormal Research and wow, check that out. Celtic Energy Paranormal Research and Investigation. Nice. So, okay, we're not going to go too much deeper into that. So it just seems like it seems like it's probably colonial era. Oh, an incident in 1995 teased a connection between stone chambers and pre-Columbian visitors to North America. According to Fleury, an 8-inch obsidian blade was pulled from the walls of the King's Chamber in Putnam County. The dagger was lab tested and dated at roughly 2,000 years old, she said. The obsidian was Icelandic. Unfortunately, she said, the artifact disappeared when sent for further testing. Check that out. All right. Well, darn, you know. I will say this is a problem in archaeology. I'm not here to pass complete judgment. I just sort of think it's probably colonial, these chambers, but I will say in general things go missing in archaeology a lot. That's a big problem. There's some fairly intense archaeological controversies where the key artifact needed to settle the debate is just gone. They've lost it. So, all right. So that's interesting. I do want to do one more thing. So one thing I also do is I go to Google Scholar. Let's see what Google Scholar has to say. King's Chamber Uh, King's Chamber, Putnam County. We'll just see. History of Putnam County. History. Let's see if it pulls up any. Archaeoastronomical prospecting at the Moose Hill Stone Chambers in New York. All right, there's this is interesting. Let's see what this is about. Preview. Archaeoastronomical prospecting at the Moose Hill Stone Chambers. The landscape surrounding the King's Chamber, one of many corbelled dry stone chambers sited along the river headwater streams of Putnam County in New York, has been paced on foot, measured by 2 meter GPS, and surveyed to 2-foot accuracy by solar-oriented transit. The skyline of the hill opposite this chamber contains large, well-separated stones. An hypothesis of human construction is offered because 3 stones correlate well with a 4-part solar year. If trees were absent, the sunset shadows made by these stones on the winter solstice, summer solstice, and equinoxes would cross at a point inside an arc of large stones in front of the chamber. The chamber acts... Okay, so he's... The rising of this same moon can be viewed from the nearby smaller chamber, and some speculation is offered on lunar timing of burial ceremonies in woodland times. Other stones on the horizon may correlate with major... Okay. 8-part year of the solar cross-quarter days. Archaeological investigation with radiocarbon dating inside the chambers and around the stones is urged in order to help prove or disprove the hypothesis of human construction and date the chamber construction. Well, okay. Friedrich W. Martin. Let's Google who that guy is. Friedrich W. Martin. Archaeology. Delmara. Okay, a late maritime woodland period dwelling feature from Nova Scotia. So he's got some serious... Oh, he's been to the reconsidering early 17th century AD Susquehannock settlement patterns. Excavation and analysis of the Lemoyne site, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania. Ooh, that looks cool. So let's open that up. We'll come back to that. Interesting. So he's got some publications that are interesting. Or I guess that's where that Friedrich W. Martin was one of the... Is this him? No. Why can't I find... Okay, New England Astronomical. Oh, here's the paper. Perfect. Okay, so there's some oh, interesting. This is pretty interesting, I will say. I mean, he's basically going along and looking at the solstice and the equinoxes and lining them up with rocks in the woods. And this is the two chambers. All right, so I will say I'm usually very skeptical of stuff like this. I don't know why. I'm not a big astrology guy, I guess. But I don't know. This seems I'm trying to gauge how serious this is. Obviously it's presented very well. It's and it's in it, I think Archaeology of Eastern North America is a reputable journal, I think. We feel, all right, let's read some of this conclusion. We feel that the evidence from the architectural ground plan suggests that the chambers may be older than colonial. Features which seem unlikely to be constructed for European influence reasons include the semicircular arrangement of long stones around a plaza in front of the larger chamber, an apparent line of sight from the larger chamber across the plaza and then through a stone gate to a prominent rock, which would be described as a rock shelter in other contexts. Okay, that's fair. Stone walls that enclose a hilltop, including a gate marked with a 6, is that a 6 foot? 6 or 6 inch? 6 inch? No, 6 foot white. I think that's 6-inch white quartz blocks. And lastly, it's the double, it's not the single, it's the double apostrophe thing. It's the quotation mark, not the apostrophe. So what does that mean? I think that means feet. Well, no, I think it means inches. Double is inches, right? And lastly, an open plaza which connects upwards through a carefully made stone gate to one of the largest stones on the ridge. In seeking to test the hypothesis of astronomical sightlines, we find 3 stones at winter solstice, summer solstice, and equinox sunset positions, suitable to fit a 4-part solar year. The estimated probability of glacial placement of stones simultaneously in these 3 directions is around 1%, based on the distance between the stones on the horizon and the size of the plaza. However, as probabilities do not show mechanisms of causation, we prefer to suspend judgment on the idea that human construction is probable, even in the face of this daunting number. So they're exercising proper humility. That's good intellectual humility there. Okay. The primary reason for suspending judgment is the heterogeneous nature of the skyline stones. Heterogeneous. So they're different. They're different materials, I guess. Although the chambers and the semicircular arc of long stones are certain, the site fails Burrell's criterion of, quote, a single phase monument in which there are several unequivocal sightlines, because the distant markers are heterogeneous and therefore equivocal. Several unequivocal sightlines. Okay, I don't understand what that means. However, we note that the precariously perched egg-shaped stones could represent the improvement of a very ancient site if the site developed in several phases over time. We conclude that the character of the stone remains which surround the Moose Hill chambers suggests pre-contact construction, and that therefore the plaza, some of the skyline stones, and the chambers themselves deserve detailed investigation by subsurface archaeological techniques. Okay, interesting. Interesting. It has my interest here. Let's look at this time. Oh, references. Now, when was this published? Let's see. Go up. When was this published? Oh, that's a 2008. So it's recent. Oh, it says in the title, 2012. Okay, let's see where Moose Hill is. Moose Hill Stone Chamber. Okay, Walking Man. This is an interesting blog. I love old blog. I like blogs like this, you know. It's not old. It's recent. This is still going. I love blogs like this. I used to have a blog like this myself, but okay. Fernston Park, The Matter, False. This is the summit of Moose Hill. A few yards above the vista sits the true summit. Heading west now, deeps. Okay. Wow, look at that. Just a chimney in the middle of nowhere. Civilian Construction Corps Camp. Interesting. Everywhere I looked, I found interesting stonework scattered throughout. The most interesting thing I found all day was the King's Chamber, a very large stone structure built into the side of a hill. There really is no firm information on what it actually was, but it is quite impressive. Yeah, that's a good picture. These are good pictures of it. Yeah. CCC, Civilian Corps of... Not engineers. Civilian Construction Corps. I believe that's part of the alphabet soup, right? Of Roosevelt. To get the economy going again in the 30s. So this thing might be from the 1930s. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, straightforward, although a bit rugged in spots. Some spot for sure. Well, I didn't see where he said the Moose Hill Chamber. We might do this hike at some point. Moose Hill and King's Chamber. So where would... So just going back to the map, just to orient ourselves real quick. Let me see what we're all saying. I'll just take a break real quick and check the chat here. I have to get better at multitasking and checking the chat. Maestro, sorry for missing your question earlier. Last Maestro, how are you celebrating July 4th this year? I haven't gotten that far. There must be awesome celebrations this year. There certainly will be, and I am still learning to say that word. 250th semi-quincentennial. Yeah, the semi-quincentennial. This year will be the time to visit Philly. It'll be great. I think it'll be quite lots of pomp and circumstance this 4th of July. So definitely hoping to be around for that. I may be out of the country later in July. Might go to Barcelona, Spain. I haven't made those plans yet. I also have to move to a new apartment, maybe. It's going to be a busy summer for sure. Neil Quickle, hi, yes, in PA it is legal to walk A creek, stay in water, and you can pan gold also, but can't dig into the bank. Okay. Good to know. I think sometimes people don't know that, and I'm gotta also just be careful. You know, you don't want to antagonize neighbors, but okay. Good to know that it's legal. Click on the images of it. It's a pre-colonial stone chamber. Keep scrolling on the images. I think it was built by Native Americans. Yeah, yeah. We'll see. I mean, I'm hopefully you just saw the research I was doing time travel history. Also, in a state park, you cannot take an arrowhead, but you can take items that archaeologists don't recognize as artifacts, like an effigy. Well, okay. I don't know about. You shouldn't take anything, I think, from a state park, but I'm catching a live, but I'm late, so I'll rewatch. What region is he talking? Oh, I'm talking about New York. We're in New York. Maryland. We're in New York, just north of New York City. Just poking around. There's this interesting chamber someone brought up. We're just looking at it, and I actually wanted to see where's Moose. California Hill State Forests. So is this Moose Hill? This must be Moose. So if I click off of this, let's put in Moose Hill, Putnam Valley, New York. Where is that? Yeah, so that's Moose Hill. So somewhere here is what this paper is about. Oh no, this paper. The stone chambers, Moose Hill stone chambers. So there are multiple stone chambers. I guess there's this one. Donkey's chambers. So, okay, so it's possible there's something here. It's possible. So, let me keep looking a little bit more. Curious arc of stones. One of the many structures that can be found in the general vicinity of the Moose Hill King's Chamber in Putnam County, New York. Here's the thing. See, this kind of thing. Yeah, more archaeology needs to be done. This must be what this paper is talking about, right? This paper here. Didn't it mention a ring? The chamber, cross paths, the chamber, and southerly mindset. Okay, I'm pretty sure it. So this is the general map. I mean, it's possible. I'll add it to the map. I think there's enough here to add it to the map. Because I think what I like, here's what I'll say. I'm usually very skeptical of stuff like this just because there's no evidence, right? There's no actual way to say, did some random colonist at some point come up here? Did some random guy, come up here and put those stones there and then he forgot, and then everyone forgot he did that, and now people have just made up legends or whatnot. It's hard to say. The thing is also, rocks like this, now this is just my intuition because, from having been out in the woods a lot in my life and seeing rocks a lot in the woods, that rocks move around. Erosion happens quite often. And, so I wouldn't say, if I had to guess, this is definitely not I would be very surprised if it is pre-Columbian, it's probably just barely. Like, this, do we really think this is 500 years old? I don't know, because wind, ice, ice and water will move rocks around. Erosion occurs. Um, Look at how precariously some of these rocks are balanced. I mean, this one right here is barely. They look barely on the right area. So like I don't know. It's just it begs it's asking a lot of me to for me to believe that structure is not at most a couple hundred years old. You know. I mean, you've seen some of the other places I've been, the other archaeological sites that I've been in my videos. You see how there's barely anything left, if there's anything at all. There's almost nothing. There's one site where, I went to the Raymond Kill Run site, and I showed you how up on the ridge above the river there are river stones that have clear uh, evidence of having been in a fire. They're red. They're burnt. Those are not ancient. They're probably not ancient. They are probably modern, and yet they look ancient to someone who doesn't know. So I'm very, very hesitant to say that anything like this would be old, but the fact that this paper is giving some credence to it. Again, I'm not a big fan of some astrology, but this was actually not badly done. This was pretty well done. So it could be fun to go see this and check it out. Working on the first shadows. I'm torn about this. Is a good one. Thank you for bringing this up to my time travel history. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. This is quite a mystery because it's got me on I'm on the fence about this one for sure. It's kind of interesting. See, I like puzzles like this. I like thinking it through. And let me see. Okay, let me see. Also in State Park, you cannot blah blah blah. Okay, blah blah blah. Really wants to find evidence of Vikings in it. Yeah, some people really want to find evidence of Vikings, don't they? I don't want to find evidence of Vikings. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I think some of the chambers were built. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's entirely possible. It's just unlikely. I just think it's unlikely based on my own intuition, really. Clearly, there is a debate because this paper from 2012, basically 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago, they're having a debate about it. So, Turtle Rock, photograph of Turtle Rock, camera facing southward. So there's a rock here called Turtle Rock. Let me see. Can I zoom in on that? Look at that. I like that. Turtle Rock. Yeah, so if I go up to this place, I'd have to find all these rocks and then piece this paper together. Which could be fun. It could be a fun little. So TR, I guess. Is that what? Does TR mean Turtle Rock? Yeah, TR for Turtle Rock. As shown in the photograph, it is a slab propped on a base having a resemblance of a turtle, bearing a superficial resemblance to 20 other clusters called rock shelters, which give evidence for continued use from archaic. When he says, okay, Dudek 2004. Wait a second. Directly west in the corner of stone walls are 2 stones and 12 paces. To the east is a 20-foot flat-topped rock, suitable for use as a stage platform for the dry stone construction. Oh, wow, okay. The second pair of parallel stone, possibly they are access to a pasture from a 19th century roadway. Alternatively, their bearing of about is north 12 east is seen from Turtle Rock could derive from an interest in the stars of the Big Dipper. This bearing matches maximum frequency summer sunrise orientation prayer seats in New England. Turtle Rock itself has a view of the eastern horizon and points at a bearing. Okay. Jeez. Now, this one was this Dudek 2004. Let's see. Let's see what Dudek 2004 is. So if we go down to the references, we go to Dudek, Martin G. The Tall Pines Rock Shelter, Clinton, Massachusetts, and rock shelter use during late wooden. So that's not even about this, is it? Let's find that paper real quick. Dang, my copy paste action is not happening sometimes. There we go. Let's just accept all the cookies, you know? I want all the cookies. Late. Can we just download it? Nope. Nope. I have a trick to get papers, but I don't want to... A little trick. Do we need this one? Bulletin of Massachusetts Archaeology. Late contact. Ceramic assemblage from Hartford Avenue, Rockbridge, Massachusetts. Tall Pines Rock Shelter, Clinton, Massachusetts. Yeah, I don't think this guy went to New York, so I don't know why he brings him up. Why does he bring him up when he's talking about Turtle Rock? Let me read that again, because I didn't get it. Bearing a superficial resemblance to 20 other clusters called rock shelters, which give... Oh, he's saying just in general in all of New England, which give evidence for continued use from archaic into woodland times. So he's just saying superficially it looks like other rock shelters, i.e. this Dudek 2000. Now I'm curious. All right, I'm gonna use my little trick, and then I'll be right back with the paper. 1 second. Can't really give my trick away here because it's not fully. Let's see. Tall Pines Rock Shelter. Nope, that's not it. Shoot. Yeah, interesting. Dudek. Yeah. Well, I might not be able to get it, folks. My trick is not working. Well, I think this is it doesn't matter anyway. I think that's a bit of a rabbit hole. But okay, so let's see this. So east of Mississippi in nearly every nation. Okay, I'll just add it to the list. I'll move on from this, but it's quite an interesting rabbit hole to go down. I want to come back to that in a second. Now, so this is the abstract of the paper. Close that. We'll close this. We will save this, Ancient Places, and we'll add this PDF as a note so that if I want to come back and figure out what the heck I was thinking. I at least have a clue. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty good one. That's an interesting one. That would also make a good video. That would make a good video because it's kind of a mystery, you know. And we like a good mystery around here, don't we? Okay, very cool, very cool. Hey, Bill Bliss, what's going on? Yeah, I love the old blogs are great, definitely. Yeah, CCC was part of the New Deal for sure. You're welcome. You're welcome, Marilyn. Hey, thanks. His time travel history. I agree. Definitely skeptical of this. Yeah, I'm skeptical too. Okay, that's a good point. There's lots of other structures too, like the main stone chamber. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll check it out. I mean, if this whole area is full of structures, that's pretty cool. Like, who am I to say? It's one of those things you kind of, without a full archaeological analysis, it's hard to say. I will note that there are two junctures of creeks, four maybe if you count these two, around this area. So this would be a nice defensible outcropping in the landscape. Like, look how high that Moose Hill is. So it's possible. It could, oh, look at this. What is that? Archaeology and historic preservation? Huh? What? What is that? What? Is that someone's house? Is there a sign anywhere? What is that? Why does it say archaeology and historic preservation on this? That's interesting. Is there any other information? Putnam Valley History Museum. Mahopac Chambers. Huh. That's weird. Well, I don't know what that is, but that's right next to the King's Chamber. Yeah. Yeah, I think New England there are tons of walls. I think New England has something like, it has millions of miles of walls or something, right? Not millions, but it has like 100,000 miles of walls. Let me Google this. Hold on one sec. I'm just making stuff up. Hold on. How many miles of stone walls are in New England? 240,000 miles of stone walls. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Down the rabbit hole. Yep, we're down the rabbit hole. I want to come back. I saw this paper. I wanted to come back to it. Andrew Wyeth. Oh, for a second there I thought Andrew Wyeth, the famous painter. Okay, reconsidering early 17th century AD Susquehannock settlement patterns, excavation and analysis of the Lemoyne site, Cumberland County. Where is that? Lemoyne, PA. Yeah. So basically, you're right across from Harrisburg. Yeah, I mean, look. I am not surprised there's something here. Look, you can even see, what the heck is this? Do you see this windy, twisty stuff in the landscape and these roads? Doesn't that seem like an ancient creek to you? Just, can't you feel it almost when you look at the topography here? Some water was made these hills. I don't know. All right, interesting. So we're talking about this little area somewhere here. What does it look like from above? Yeah, it's all developed now. It's all developed. Okay, let's see. I'm going to guess if let's see if the paper describes where this site is. But if I had to guess, I don't see any creeks. City Island is here. So I'm going to guess. Okay, this is the boundary area of Lemoyne. There is this ridgeline. I'm going to guess. Hopefully it's Negley Park, or what's that little green spot? What's that? Basketball court? Fort Couch? That's a cool name for a fort. Sounds comfortable, right? Man, I don't know where it's going to be. Let's look at the paper and see if it says. Lemoyne Borough Memorial Park. The Lemoyne Borough Memorial Park site is a palisaded Susquehannock village located on an upland summit overlooking the Susquehanna River in the borough of Lemoyne, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania. Discovered and partially excavated in advance of rail line construction, the site both clarifies and complicates the reconstruction of late 16th century. Now let's just look at Cumberland County real quick. Cumberland County, PA. It's hard to see, but I don't know if you can see, but this is Cumberland County. So it's a kind of a smaller county, I guess. It occupies the valley just beneath the major ridges of the Poconos. And it's got the, what's the river called? Shoot. I should know this. Come on. Reveal yourself. What is the name here? What the heck? Google doesn't want to tell me the name of this creek, and it's slipping my mind. This is a major waterway. Well, in any case, this is Cumberland County. So we're talking at the very end, the end of Cumberland County right here. So I guess maybe this. No, it said Memorial Park. Is that what it means? Lemoyne Borough Memorial Park. Okay. Discovered and partially, line construction. The site both clarifies and complicates the reconstruction of late 16th century, early 17th century AD Susquehannock Village movement in the lower Susquehanna River Valley. Analysis of the site's pottery and European trade items suggests an intermediate chronological placement between the Schultz and Washington Borough Village sites of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and an estimated range of occupation from 1610 to 1620. That's not long. The Lemoyne site's location, approximately 50 meters upriver from the Schultz and Washington Borough sites, provides 50 kilometers upriver, provides additional evidence that the Susquehannocks practiced a geographically extensive approach to settlement that differed from the intensive use of smaller tribal areas documented for individual Iroquois tribes. This article summarizes the results of the excavation and analysis of the site, provides comparison. Okay, interesting. really want to find where it is. Based primarily on data. One major during the successive Schultz and Washington borough stages in his framework of Susquehanna cultural history. Under this model, residents of Schultz Village site. See how these sites have, I don't know if you can see this, but they have 36LA7. There's got to be a map. I have to connect with an academic archaeologist who just has a map of all archaeological sites. That would just be so helpful. That's really what I want. It's what I need to get. Surface collection, which Pennsylvania yielded what? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. 11. What? Okay. Based on the records of William Kelker held at the Dauphin County Historical Society, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Kent wrote, following Kelker, that in 1901, 11 Indian graves had been exposed by railroad work near the western terminus of the Cumberland Valley Railroad Bridge near Lemoyne, although only one contained artifacts. Okay. Kent assigned one of the rims from a small number of potsherds to the type Schultz incised and suggested that if all 11 graves were Susquehannock, quote, a site of some size and importance was destroyed by railroad and other construction at this place, probably during early Schultz times. Yeah. Under Kent's chronology, early Schultz times equates with the hypothesized migration. So there you go. Another story of just destroying ancient, Native American sites for railroads and highways, and just classic, classic. So let's see if we can sort of figure it out. Work near the western terminus of the Cumberland Valley Railroad Bridge near Lemoyne. Cumberland Valley Railroad Bridge. Is that? Cumberland Valley Railroad Bridge? I mean... Wait, there it is. What's this? Ah, interesting. So So there's a railroad bridge here. Hold on. I want to get a better view of it. You see that? You see that line? See this line? I think this is the railroad bridge they're talking about. Let me see a little dot. I can maybe put the man out there. 1 second. Come on, let me grab ya. Come on, Mr. Man. How do I freaking... Come on, dude. There we go. I'm going to drop you right there. Wow. There you go. So that's the railroad bridge. Right? That's the Cumberland Valley Railroad Bridge. Oh, Conadogunet Creek. Thank you, Me Too Fan 1. Conadogunet Creek. Yeah. Yeah, time travel history, it's good to self-educate. I'm all about that because sometimes archaeology, it's hard to take classes for sure, you know. Like not everybody is built for school, you know. I happen to be very good at school, well, good enough to pass, but I mean, I struggled too. There were I got a, you know, I didn't get every, not all my grades were perfect, let's put it that way. It was pretty rough sometimes, so. And it's expensive for sure. I mean, I don't think everybody needs to go to college necessarily. I think if you can go to college and you can hack it, it's worth it, but it's not for everyone. Anyway, back to this. So, looks like they were talking about this park. So, when they were building, it says, right? It says work 11 Indian graves had been exposed by railroad work near the western terminus of the Cumberland Valley Railroad Bridge near Lemoyne. So, we're on the western. This is to the west, you know, that way. It's to the west. This is the bridge. So, near the western terminus of the bridge. This is the Memorial Park. I believe that's it. That's got to be the Lemoyne Borough Memorial Park. Cool. So, there were 11 Indian graves found in that park. Does anybody there know that? Do you think anybody knows that? Crazy. There should be a marker there, shouldn't there? Alright, we're definitely marking that. Now let me see if I can find... Let me see if this will work. 1 second. I have a little trick that I sometimes use. Let me see if my trick will work for this. I'm gonna see if I can get this paper. Come on. Dang. It's not easy, is it? Not easy at all. But I'm gonna try again. 1 second. Let's see. No. Nope. Gonna try one more time. Nope. Okay. Doesn't always work. My trick doesn't always work. Man, I wish I could get this paper somehow. Oh, wait, there's a citation. Let's see what the citation goes. See, what I need is a DOI. It's called a DOI number. That would be really helpful. If I can find that. Can I just, let's see. Does it give the DOI number? Abstract. Journal publisher. Title. Nope. No DOI number. Gives the ISSN number. Let's see if that'll help. Copy. Nope. Dang. Might be out of luck for this one, folks, but interesting. I'm still going to put a marker there because I think that's definitely, I think we, just from the from that amount of information alone, we can pretty much guess that there would have been a couple of bodies found here, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna save that. Ancient places. It's probably likely the site of a village, Susquehannock Village, where 11 bodies were found. 11 graves. Susquehannock Village. 11 graves. Found in 1901. That makes sense. There you go. That's how it goes in Pennsylvania, folks. That's how it goes across the U.S. These places are just completely forgotten. Now, wait. Before I say they're completely forgotten, I do want to actually check. Let's drop the man down again. And just, you know, on the off chance that someone actually remembers, they might have a little sign somewhere. Cawthorn Field. Okay, Cawthorn Field. Welcome to Cawthorn Field. Do we see any? Oh, what's that? Is that a? Could that be a historic marker? Ooh, what is that? Can't read it. Is that something? That could be a historic marker of some sort. I don't know. I don't have a good picture of it. That's good that you don't struggle, man. I did. I struggled quite a bit in school. It depended on the class. I got good grades. Good enough. Good enough. Well, there you go, folks. That's kind of how it goes. That's kind of how I find places. I just follow little rabbit holes through papers in archaeology, you know. Like this paper is really good because it, you know, at the end of most papers, they'll have references. And then you can just scan through the references and see what jumps out at you. This bibliography is very interesting. The whole field of like native archaeological astronomical observations is fascinating. I mean, that is definitely something I don't know much about. Ethnoastronomy of North America. Look at that. Huh. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Really interesting stuff. There's so many rabbit holes. I could just pick any one of these. I mean, out in the Southwest, for sure, there are, and in Ohio, you can see it too. It's just New England is more difficult to say, just because of the you know, a lot of these sites haven't been excavated. They haven't been fully. 2001. What's this? You know, they haven't been. What I was saying is they haven't been fully archaeologically surveyed, so we don't know. Unpublished manuscript. Fall meeting. Okay. Actually, now I am curious. What if we just popped King's Chamber, Putnam County. Let's see. Someone on YouTube's gotta have been there. Yeah, there you go. Someone's been there. Quite a few people have been there. The mystery walls of the King's Chambers. Look at this. Just for kicks and giggles, I want to see. Let's see how many views the most viewed one has gotten. How do you? popularity, I guess. All right, so this one's gotten a thousand views.
From what I was able to find online, it seems like there are up to 200 of them in this county alone.
200.
With more all around New England. We're going to check out one of the biggest ones in the downstate area. Big Chamber, Big Old State Park. They recently added this section, so now it's Parks property. So just alright guys, here we are.
Oh yeah.
King's Chamber.
That doesn't
The
look
King of them all. In size at least.
very skeptical that that's super old. I gotta say. I don't think that's super
So
old.
just to let you know,
I think it's
the Conic State Parkway
Probably a
runs
couple hundred
right down
years
there
old.
and then it kind of curves a bit. It's right by, like right where the highlands begin. It starts to get really hilly. Right where, we'll tell you because information is available everywhere online. Also, this is kind of weird. I remember last time I was here, there was a stone propped up vertically, like right over here. They made it look all ceremonial.
I guess the vertical stone's been pushed over, huh?
Oh, wow. They were root cellars for colonial farmers back up, like the Phoenicians, the Celts.
All right. So there you go. Interesting. Good stuff. Okay. So what do you think? Anything else I should check out? Kona. I do want to see Kona. Kono Dogunit Creek. I can't even say that. Kono Dogunit. So that, wow, look at that creek. I mean, that's got to be one of the oldest creeks in the world. Think about that. Because here's the thing. The Susquehanna River is the 5th oldest river in the world. I want to say oldest river in the world is the Finca River in Australia. Here are the oldest rivers: Finca, Musa, French Broad River, in basically the Tennessee River, the New River, which is the Kanawha River, which is in, I think, West Virginia, right? And then the Susquehanna. Look at that. Susquehanna empties into the Chesapeake. It's about 325 to 260 million years old. Million years old, the Susquehanna River. Seriously, that is extremely old. Yeah, it doesn't get too much older than that. I mean, it's older than the Indus, Yangtze. Look at the big names. Amazon. The Ohio River is pretty old too. 3 million years old. That's pretty good. But, I mean, come on. 325 million years old. These 3 rivers alone, the Kanawha, the French Broad River, and the New River, the French Broad River, and the Susquehanna River, they're all in the Appalachian Mountains, because the Appalachian Mountains are 300 million years old. So I'm just saying, this creek has probably been flowing into this river for millions of years. And however long humans have been here, this creek has probably been... So here's another thing you can see about this creek is... Now, often when you see that kind of windy, twisty part of a creek, right? You see that in waterways that go through very sandy and very loose soil. So, you know, if you look at the Amazon River, see how it has these huge oxbows in it? Look, let me see if I can show you. So look how windy and twisty it is. You know, windy, twisty. Very windy, twisty rivers. And that's because the soil there is very loose. And so over time, the river just kind of wiggles. Like if you could do a time lapse photo of this river through hundreds of years, it would just be wiggling around. And it would flood periodically. And it would, yeah, it'd be crazy. This river, this is not that, I don't think. I think what's happened here is that it's cut down through the ridge lines. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this creek has broken through successive ridge lines as it winds its way through. Although it is in a valley beneath the hill, and it's not as clear. Like, look how the Susquehanna River just clearly cuts right through these hills. That's partly because the Susquehanna River is older than the Appalachian Mountains, I believe. So the mountains arose around the river. But maybe not so for this creek. I don't know. I'm speculating about the geology. I don't actually know. But very interesting. I bet this creek would have been a very important native site in ancient times. Like right here. I bet if you went into these places, you'd find something. Let's drop the man down. Let's take a little look. Take a little look-see. Yeah, like this field. I wonder if anybody's ever taken a look in this field for arrowheads. Definitely a good spot if you ask me. So. Okay. Well, what should we do next? This is Ridley Creek. What is that? Little tributary. Right off 320. Oh, Providence Road. Okay. Ridley Creek. What about that area? What is this called? Hudson Park? Houston Park? Wait, I feel like we've talked about Houston Park. I feel like someone mentioned I should look there. Maybe in the last stream or one of the comments. Yeah. Just on the off chance. Let's see. Archaeology. I spent a day exploring Ridley Creeks, parks, hidden ruins. Yep. Classic Wandering Woodsman. Shout out to Wandering Woodsman. Now Ridley Creek is a lot of familiar names popped up. 45 acre. Chester. Okay, inducted into the Ridley Creek State Park and inducted in a National Old Growth Forest Network. That's cool. But that's not what we want. Yeah. What is this? Kind of interesting, possibly. The flow of history along Ridley Creek. Presentation to the Delaware County Institute of Sciences. Flow of history along Ridley Creek. This is a cool map. I like this map. In a 38 square mile watershed. So you have Chester Creek, which is pink, Ridley Creek green, and Crum Creek, I don't know what that is, blue, like darker pink. 11 townships, 5 boroughs, and 1 city. Wow. Pretty intense, huh? Pretty cool. Bedrock geology of southeastern Pennsylvania. Look at that. Wow. Wait, I want to keep this. How do I save this as? Wait. Just download it. Okay, documents, save. Interesting. Mineral Hill. Crump's Quarry, pegmatite. Wow. The Fall Line. Classic. Sycamore Mills Dam. Should we go over what the Fall Line is? The Fall Line. Pennsylvania. So, the Fall Line is... Here's a good view of it. It's a line. And it cuts right north of Philly. It cuts this whole part of Pennsylvania. Cuts across. And it cuts up the whole eastern seaboard. And basically, let's see if there's a good... I don't want to get it completely... Okay, the Atlantic Seaboard Fall Line or Fall Zone is a 900-mile escarpment where the Piedmont and Atlantic coastal plain meet in the eastern United States. Much of the Atlantic Seaboard Fall Line passes through areas where no evidence of faulting is present. The Fall Line marks the geologic boundary of hard metamorphosed terrain, the product of Taconic orogeny, and the sandy, relatively flat alluvial plain of the upper continental shelf, formed of unconsolidated Cretaceous and Cenozoic sediments. Examples of the Fall Line features include Potomac's River's Little Falls and the rapids at Richmond, Virginia, where the James River falls across a series of rapids down to its own tidal estuary. So basically, it's a ridge, and it's been a big, in Philadelphia especially. There's a big, it's influenced the geography of Philadelphia very heavily, and also the social geography of Philadelphia. So if you do things like the Fall Line. Let's Philadelphia. There are all sorts of interesting maps where you can see. Like I wish. Okay, here you go. I'm looking for something sort of like this. Security check. Yeah, sure. Okay, so you see now. What do you recognize about the Fall Line here? And I'm talking about class when I'm talking about Fall Line. Notice how most of Philadelphia is on the south of the Fall Line, right? What's to the north? To the north is Montgomery County, more or less, right? Roxborough and Manayunk. So why did I say Montgomery? Montgomery County is definitely to the west, but Roxborough, Manayunk, and Germantown, sort of north of the Fall Line in Philadelphia. Am I getting that right? Yeah, and I think you can kind of guess where are all the mansions in Philly. Well, the mansions are up here on this above this line. And there's some, like, I don't know exactly there was some article about this that I read once about how in Philadelphia, rich people lived above the Fall Line and poor people lived below it. at some point in the 1800s that sort of changed, but yeah, you can see that's so Philly more or less sits at the base. The fall line cuts through Philly, but most of the city is under this line, and that is why Philly is so flat, because it's under this basically this cliff, and it's caused by the ocean. It's a result of the tectonic plate meeting the ocean. Dang, there was a really cool article, but it's an interesting thing to note how many cities are along the fall line. I wish I knew more about why that is. Look at all the cities: Montgomery, Macon, Augusta, Columbia, Raleigh, Petersburg, Richmond, Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Trenton are all on the fall line. Look at that. Interesting, right? Yeah, Philadelphia class. Let's see. The fall line refers to coastal plain. How geology shapes history. Fall Bridge. Man, there's some relationship between the fall line in Philly and where rich people live, usually. So, but I don't remember. Okay, let me check this out. Mass burial at Schneckling. This Neolithic mass grave in modern day Germany may exhibit signs of deliberate mutilation and are treated. There are several other yeah. I mean, there's some really old mass graves in Europe that are really very strange. There are some that are pretty brutal. Ancient mass graves are really strange. That's an interesting topic for sure. The mass grave near Schletz, part of Aspern an der Saya, was located about 33 kilometers, roughly 20 miles to the north of Vienna, Austria, and dates back 7,500 years. Wow, Schletz, just like the Talheim. That's the one I've heard, the Talheim Death Pit. You want to see something grim? If you don't know about this place, this is pretty. Oh my gosh, the Talheim Death Pit. Holy moly, it's pretty grim. The Talheim Death Pit was a mass grave found in the linear pottery cultural settlement, also known as linear culture. It dates back 5,000 years. The pit takes its name from the site of Talheim, Germany. The pit contained the remains of 34 bodies. Evidence points towards signs of organized violence in early Neolithic. So basically, a whole village got killed. There were 9 adult men, 7 adult women, 2 more adults of indeterminate sex, and 16 children. Yeah, so it's pretty grim. Pretty grim. And just a really grim name, a death pit. Yeesh, you know. Yeesh, I say. Okay, so yeah, proof of genocide, early Neolithic Europe among the LBK tribes. Yeah, definitely. Pauper's grave very near Mount Laurel over in Burlington County, New Jersey. Isn't there a pauper's grave? What do you mean by that? Alright, time travel history. Hope you sleep well. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm gonna be on here for a little longer, but hope you sleep well. Pauper's grave. Pop. I don't know what that means. Pauper's graveyard. Pauper is in like Potter's Field, like a poor person. Pauper's grave. What does pauper mean? Pauper means like someone who's poor, right? Yeah, a very poor person, a pauper. I see. So there's in Mount Laurel. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Okay, we covered that. So what were we looking at here? Oh, this was just the geography. I just like poking around through these different publications. Plant communities, serpentine barrens. Hey, the Great Minkus Path. Oh, look. Oh my gosh. Can I zoom in on that? Look, so when I was growing up, there used to be this beaver statue next to the sign for the Great Minkus Path. This is Rose Valley. This is in Rose Valley. There used to be this amazing plaque, and then the bronze beaver statue. And this is what it looked like growing up my whole life. I would go to that patch of woods, or it used to be it's right by the side of the road in Rose Valley. And now it's gone. I mean, now it's gone. Let's go to Rose Valley. I don't know if they'll ever replace it. It's somewhere like right here, I think. Yeah, there's the sign, right? Is that the sign? No, whoops. No, that's not the, wait. Maybe it's further up. It's further up. What? Where is it? Too much history in this town, I say. Ah, there it is. Oh, yeah, look, it's gone now. Gone. Not too bad. But this is what it looked like. Now it looks like this. Someone nicked it. Someone stole this and melted it, I guess. Really too bad. I hope they replace it. They should replace it. It's documented. It's right there. We can just make another one, right? Oh, Last Maestro, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, this is just what I do. I hang out. I'm happy to do it with an audience, because usually I'm just doing it by myself. It's sort of how I pass the time anyway, so. Okay, community grave for poor people. Got it. Pauper's grave. I just never heard that before. What was so offensive about LBK? Wrong clay? I don't think anything's offensive. I don't know. Maybe I misspoke. I didn't mean to say anything so offensive about the wrong clay. It's just grim. Okay. Lots of Native Americans buried there without headstones, etc., just west of Quaker Meeting House near the Mount of Mount Laurel. Really? Who has a copper smelter I can borrow? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, well, anyway, yeah. If you have a copper smelter, you gotta be careful, because I think a lot of people will be watching you closely. Okay. Quaker Meeting House near Mount Laurel. Alright, now you're giving me so many tips. Thank you. Chat. Thank you, guys. Okay, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Let's just take a quick look at the Quaker meeting house. Oh, the Evansham meeting house. Wait a second. No, Mount Laurel Friends meeting. Just west, so like right in here somewhere. Right in there. Near the Mount of Mount Laurel. I love that. What the heck does that mean? The Mount of Mount Laurel. Oh. I guess there is some topography there, isn't there? Is that the Mount of Mount Laurel? Is that what that Mount Laurel is named after? Interesting. Okay, let's drop the man down. Let's see what we're working with here. So that's the Mount of Mount Laurel. And you're saying, here's the meeting house. Would there be, is it up there? Or is it, you're saying there's some Indian graves up in here somewhere? Indians who lived throughout the Delaware Valley. Look at this sentence. I mean, come on. Long before it became Mount Laurel Township, the earliest known history of this area began with the Lenni Lenape Indians who lived throughout the Delaware Valley from around 1400 until the 1700s. No, come on. They lived there for thousands of years. Not from around 1400. What does that mean? Evidence is found of their farming and hunting villages along the banks of the Ronkonkos. In fact, the Great Road of pioneer days began as an Indian trail. When the Great Road was laid out in 1765, many Indian hand tools were found along the way. Today, part of the Great Road is known as Hainesport Mount Laurel Road. Mount Laurel residents still claim to dig up Indian artifacts on their own properties. The Indians helped many of the Europeans settle. Okay, yeah, we know that. One prominent family recorded history. Evans family. In 1682, William Evans, his wife Jean, and their 3 children made the voyage from Wales to settle along the Ronkonkos Creek. Okay, bought 300 acres of land, which is the hill later to be called Mount Laurel at the intersection of Hainesport, Mount Laurel Road. 5 years later, married a Quaker minister, and they lived in a cave by the mount. They called it Mount Prey, and lived in this cave until a log cabin was built, which stood where the Friends Meeting House is today on the other side of the intersection. To the Society of Friends, and the Friends Meeting House was built with the help of Indians. Interesting. That's cool. Built of Jersey sandstone quarried from the mount. The oldest meeting house. It is the oldest meeting house in the country and is still in use today? Really? Oldest Quaker meeting, no. In U.S. I was gonna say, I'm not sure about that. I think there's at least some debate. Yeah, there's some pretty old meeting houses. I would be very surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised, but okay. Well, I'm not sure about this claim. It is the oldest meeting house in the country. I don't know. Is that true? Okay. Wow, Mozart's grave is unknown? That's wild. That's too bad. Well, I don't know, guys. Let me keep looking a little bit more about this. Some Native Americans were also next to the meeting house, Mount Holly, 300. This is Burlington, New Jersey, though. Ads on. That's so funny. Okay. Ooh, nice little map. Look at this map. I like that map. Let me just do a quick. I can't. Control Command F. There we go. Let's do Native Americans. 4th and 5th Streets laid out. Where is this? Oh, I see. It's a Springfield Township, Burlington County. Okay. Which also administers the burial ground. There is a provision of meeting. Could also have a house back. Interesting. So let's investigate that real quick. Okay. What are we looking for? Probably that intersection, but let's do meeting. Shoot. Springfield Meeting House? Wait a second. It says Upper Springfield is one of 3 old meeting houses in Upper Springfield. What is Upper Springfield? This is not gonna be. It's gonna take me somewhere random if I search that. So 1 second. Burlington County Times, Gail T. Boatman, survivor. This is tough. Upper Evanston meeting shire. Quaker. Trenton meeting. Let's I don't really know what is this, just a list of meetings? What is it? Some old friends meetings houses outside of Pennsylvania. Yeah, okay. Well, alright. Meeting house. If I had to guess, it'll be somewhere here, right? Just a hunch. Looks like I'm wrong, though. Dang. Upper Springfield. I don't know. This might be a little bit of a rabbit hole. Might not lead anywhere. This is what I was looking at first, though. Salem. Oh, Salem. Pfft. Well. I assume they mean Salem as in Massachusetts, right? Yep. All right. Let's see. Tuckerton. Good old Tuckerton. I like Tuckerton. Tuckerton was a port where a sailing vessel chandlers bought fresh cedar water. The water had a reputation for staying fresh. Yeah. Yeah, because cedar is doesn't rot. The wood doesn't rot. And the tannins from the cedar are antibacterial, right? Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Tuckerton's a fun little town. Been there a couple times. There you go. The Philadelphia. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of early meeting houses were log structures. Yep. Stands to reason. Is there a meeting in Springfield, New Jersey? I guess there were 3, right? That's a cool meeting house. Look at that meeting house. That's really cool. Look at that. Look at those shingles. Very interesting. Yeah, if anyone knows, Springfield is one of 3 old meeting houses in Springfield Township. I'm just gonna yoink this. Do a little copy. Do a little paste. Ooh, gave us a little address. Thank you, thank you. We're gonna take that. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna paste it. Oh, interesting. Drop that there. Ooh, look at that. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah. There we go, folks. There's a cemetery for you. So it looks like there might be some Native Americans buried in this cemetery. At least according to this site. There is a large memorial marker placed there now. According to tradition, some Native Americans were also interred in the burial ground next to the meeting house. But that's all we know. That is all we know. Upper Springfield Meeting House. Meeting house situated at the intersection of 2 Indian trails. It is one of the oldest in Burlington County. Very cool. Okay, let's add that to the map for sure. For sure. Now would be great. Upper Springfield Meeting House. So what would be where would the 2 Indian trails be? I mean, obviously Highland Road was one of the Indian trails. Can we figure it out? It's hard to say. It is interesting how, look at how the creeks, these Anarican Brook, this creek, this creek, this creek, this creek, none of them cross this trail. And it kind of shows you the path of the trail just through the landscape, just because that would have been the best way to walk. So you can almost trace the trail because it wouldn't have been marshy, the creeks don't cut through it, so you can almost just imagine it probably scooted right through here, maybe through here, so it would come something like this, right down, and then boom. I bet if you marked the ends of each of these creeks and then drew a line connecting them, you could figure out where the trail went. Maybe it went off this way, because it wouldn't have crossed creeks unless it had to. I think. Just a guess. Just reading the landscape, making guesses. Yeah, because if you go this way, far enough, look, it's all bounded by creeks all around. So but this is a clear passage between all these creeks, right? Can keep going all the way down here. Okay, that's my guess. Although this looks like it's bounded, so wait, if it goes up here, where would it have gone? would it have scooted through, across Georgetown, and then over this way to Bordentown and Fieldsboro, maybe? That'd be my guess. And maybe off this way somewhere. Somewhere up here. I don't know. Just a guess. Okay. Let's definitely add that. Count. Upper Springfield Meeting House, New Jersey. Okay, we're gonna save it. Ancient places. Meeting house at the intersection of two Indian trails. Cool. So now it's on the map. There we go. Were there salmon in New Jersey? I didn't know that. That's amazing. I had no idea. That is amazing. Yeah, it's kind of incredible. The location of the Upper Springfield Meeting House is amazing. It is. It is. It's kind of cool. And that's the thing. This whole landscape is full of stuff like that, little gems, you know, and then you can just sort of piece it together if you look around. Of course, look at that. I wonder if we can get a topographical sense. Are there any topography here? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's not as useful. At least this view is not as useful. I wanted the terrain. Can we do terrain? Oh, there you go. Look at that. Okay, so it looks like if Highland Road was the trail going to the north, and it sort of hugged this ridge, didn't it? And then I said it would have come up this way and scooted through here. Which, does that follow? Yeah, I think it could work. But this also is, man, really difficult to say. Is that 200? So there's little bits of topography here, but yeah, look, and then Cloverdale Way is kind of windy. Like maybe these were bits of the old trail, or maybe it did go up. Ah, see, maybe there's this Highland Road, and then if you just cut straight across, there's this. What is that? Is that just a driveway or something? I don't know what that is, but maybe it went up here. I'm just looking at the creeks and then over to Georgetown, you know, cut through here. I don't know. But I guess for me, what's interesting is where would the other trail have been? Would it have been coming up this way, Friends Meeting House Road? I guess Springfield Meeting House Road it would have been the name of the old road. And then Highland Road and Lisbon Road going. So maybe it's that sort of north-south, right? So Springfield Road might have been part of an old trail. Across the creek here. Meeting House Road. So maybe the old trail kind of went down this way. Main, and then joined East Main Street. And off to the west, off to the east it went, you know. Something like that. Maybe. Be interesting to find out more about that. I'm glad they at least have a marker. That's pretty cool. Okay. Oh, look at this. I didn't even scroll down. To verify every time. Whoa. Okay. Well, how do I can't. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Look at the brickwork. Look at that brickwork. Flemish Bond, right? Is that what it's called? Flemish Bond? Or is that different? Ooh, it says... The stone above the doorway says 1721, I believe. 1721. Awesome. Very cool. And then here is the cemetery. Bushes. Headstones. Wow. Wow. Okie doke. Very interesting. That was a fun little rabbit hole. That was a fun little rabbit hole for sure. I need to add more ancient stuff. I mean, that's the thing. You know, this is how the map has grown. You just see all these dots. I've just looked around, and over time you find them. So I'm sure there's more stuff like Runcoca State Park. Runcoca State Park. There's definitely native. I mean, there are Native Americans all over here, right? So let's just do Runcoca State Park archaeology. Whoa, let's see if we get anything. However, to confirm, an archaeology survey of the area would be needed, however, to confirm the remains in the natural area. So they haven't looked, is that right? Is that what they're saying? Hey, well, let's prehistoric fossils. How about we do Roncocas Creek archaeology map? What is that? No, I don't know. This might not be what we're... Old Powhatan. Oh, it was a reservation. Oh. Look at that. Look at that, folks. Where are we? Roncocas Creek Nature Center. Oh, wait. We'll hold the phone. Roncocas Nature Center. Roncocas Nature Center. Oh my lord. Okay. So, that is the site of the Powhatan Indian Reservation. Shoot, we gotta put a marker there. Oh my gosh. Okay, of course. Powhatan Indian Reservation. Can we drop the man down? Let's drop him on the road here and check it out a little bit. What does that say? What does that sign say? Is there any... There's no acknowledgement of the Indian reservation? Hold on. Hold on. Powhatan Indian Reservation. There isn't one single Powhatan Indian reservation, but rather several recognized tribal lands associated with the Powhatan people, primarily the Pamunkey Indian Reservation in Virginia, which is the reservation for federally recognized Powhatan tribe and one of Virginia's oldest. Like the Powhatan Lenape Nation in New Jersey, which holds a state recognized reservation in Rancocas. Oh. The historic pound encompassed numerous tribes in Virginia's Tidewater region. Oh, interesting. I'm confused. I am confused. Powhatan people are indigenous people of the northeastern woodland who belong to member tribes of the Powhatan Confederacy, or they are Algonquin peoples whose historic territories were eastern Virginia. The Powhatan language is the Eastern Algonquin language, also known as Virginia Algonquin, and an estimated 14 to 21,000 Powhatan people lived in eastern Virginia. But how did they get to New Jersey? How did they get up to New Jersey then? CalTopo app? Oh yeah, I gotta get a topographical app. That's good. Yeah, I should check the CalTopo. CalTopo's the app you recommend? All right. That's something I should have also from hiking. I need to get a good topography map for my hiking adventures. That might be a very good guess, because all right, that might be a very good guess about the Indian Trails locations, but where might the First Nations people be able to make pemmican or smoke some fish without getting shot at? Yeah. For elevation, shaded relief is fun to play with. Yeah, I know. You're right. Shaded relief is not. Okay. You're a good point. Checkerboard brick pattern? Yeah. Those trails locations would be likely place to find arrowheads and artifacts, particularly after the land was plowed and after some heavy rain events, so that the stones would stand out above the soil. Yep. CalTopo is good too. The one for PA that PSU did has excellent topography lines and flood features. The app called ONX, I've heard of that one, ONX, highlights the property boundaries and ownership names mainly for hunters, etc., but the hunt for artifacts might be furthered by actually asking for permission. Yeah. Henry Grunow had a collection of over 500, wow, arrowheads, and went to Lenape High School class of 1967. He was with the fire department for years, now deceased. R.I.P. Yeah, Onyx, I had Onyx for a while. I need to get better at using it. I think I might have Onyx on my phone, actually. Yeah. All right. GIS parcel viewers are good. Yeah. I don't understand what's up with the Powhatan reservation and oh, here we go. Powhatan Lenape Nation is a state-recognized tribe in New Jersey. It is not federally recognized as a Native American tribe. Members are concentrated in South Jersey and the Philadelphia metropolitan. I mean, I've definitely heard of this. Here's Abe, by the way. Abe's back. The organization's founder and chief was Roy Crazy Horse. That's an awesome. I want that name. Also known as Nematanu or Roy Johnson. He obtained the land for the Rancocas Indian Reservation in 1974, which later became part of the Rancocas State Park. The Powhatan Lenape, I see. The Powhatan Lenape Nation was granted state recognition in New Jersey in 1980. On March 18th, 2019, the state recognition was reaffirmed. Okay. The Powhatan Lenape Nation has a state Indian reservation in Rancocas, New Jersey. The state of New Jersey negotiated an agreement with the Powhatan Lenape Nation to take over 350 acres of state land, which the state now recognizes as the Rancocas Indian Reservation. Yeah. Interesting. So are they related to the Lenape and the Powhatan? I'm very confused. Very interesting. Let's quickly. The Rancocas Indian Reservation was a significant site in West Hampton, New Jersey, established by but the nation has since relocated from that specific land, now part of Rancocas State Park, and continues its work from a new location, still educating the public about Powhatan culture and heritage from their website and outreach. Interesting. It's now recognized by the state of New Jersey, but the general public. Okay. This is really. See, this is the thing. Like, I don't know why to. Oh, look at this. An old forum. I love this stuff. 2011. Whatever happened to it? The sign is gone and now replaced with one saying something like state or township park. Too much traffic, and I never get to slow down, probably read the sign anyway. It looks like the Indian event is long gone. Is that so? What is going on there? The reservation is within the boundary of Rancocas State Park. You might contact the park to see if anything has changed since last year's festival. The reservation still maintains its website. Let's see where that goes. Is that still on? Drum roll. Will the website load? Ooh. Oh no. No. So the website is gone. But, not to worry, let's go to the Wayback Machine. No. 1, 2. Copy. Paste. All right. Let's check it out. Let's see what it looked like in 2020. Through the carry-in, carry-out. Interesting. Weird. Oh. So this doesn't... Wait, what is this? Where is it taking us? The reservation still maintains its website. And that's not a link to the website. Okay. Well, let's just go back here. Let's see what it looks like. This is 2006. Wow. Juried American Indian Arts Festivals. The arts festivals are held in May and October and sponsored by the Powhatan Indians. Then it gives a cool phone number. And this is Roncocos Indian Reservation. Okay. Let's go to 2025. What in the world? What am I looking at? Is this in a different... Is this in a Native American language? I mean, this almost looks like an Indian language from India. What is this? Okay, wait a second. Powhatan. Powhatan.org. Not found. Wow. Okay. Interesting. 403 forbidden. So it looks like they got hacked. Or the website is just gone. Wait, let's go. Let's just make sure it's not. Yeah, so there it is. It's working. And then let's skip to 2016. The reservation is currently closed. There are no arts festivals scheduled. And there you go. What in the world? What is this? I'm just gonna, just out of curiosity, let's take this. I wonder what this is. Google Translate. Paste. Indonesian. It's Indonesian. So somehow this Powhatan.org was doing Indonesian stuff up through last year, right? That's July 20th, 2025. Weird. Very weird. And then now it's offline. Now it's a 404, which means I wonder if it's even registered. Hold on. Don't instant. I love this this site, instant domain. Paste powhatan.org. Okay, it is registered. But it's registered as somewhere in Jakarta. What? Wow. What the heck? What the heck? So it's been taken by some Indonesian people, I guess. Powhatan.org. Wow. Yeah, Jakarta, India. That's... Anyway, alright. That was interesting. That was interesting. So, yeah. Yeah, it's Philippine. Okay, so I guess... I don't know. Does anybody know what happened to the Powhatan? Let's see. Powhatan... Renape Nation. News? Let's see what the news is. Still here. The Nanticoke, Lenni Lenape, and Powhatan Renape Nations. It's 2024. What is going on, guys? Let's do past year. Montclair University launches New Jersey Center of Indigenous Justice. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think it's just yeah, we'll do some subscriber meetups. That would be fun. Honestly, I just gotta get organized. I gotta get organized. My job is so demanding that it cuts into my time. There's so much stuff to do for this channel. I should make a list of things to do because sorry, it's late. My brain is a little fuzzy now. Getting a little fuzzy. I should do this over here first real quick. Strategic planning. Did I have... that's not really what I want. I have like a whole thing for the YouTube channel. So it's basically this is where I'm doing some organization. I got some stuff for meetups. It's all good meetups. Ideas for events. Meetup at Man Full of Trouble. Historic walking tours of colonial Philadelphia. Go for a hike in the Lenape Village. I'll add, yeah, Delco meetup would be cool. Delco meetup. Maybe we could go to Zach's Burgers in Aston. That'd be cool. Get some burgers. But that's probably not what... Actually, no. We don't want to do that. We want to... Where in Delco should we go? Where do you want to go? Maybe we could go to... Delco meetup. Where should we go in Delco? I mean, there are so many places. Yeah, you guys tell me. You guys tell me where you'd want to go, I guess. So, but I'm down to go. I have so much stuff to do. There's like... I'll just show you. I mean, there's Audio tour. I want to put together an audio tour so you can download an audio tour, and I'll like update it every once in a while with new stuff. There's the email list, membership, merch, videos. This is like where I have started doing. Do I have anything there? Not really. Yeah, this is just different ideas for the channel. Maybe what I'll do is, let me just do a general to-do list. Let's just make a general to-do list. Okay. Let's get organized. To-do list. So, put task. We'll make it bold and do an underline or a border. Okay, so I have to. So we'll do a subscriber meetup or a. So one thing. So speaking of subscriber meetup, we are gonna do. I am gonna organize a Tamanend Day meetup. Tamanend. I think this is a good idea. So we're gonna try to do this Tamanend Day. Which is on May 1st. And we can go to Man Full of Trouble, or we can go to one of the other tours. Maybe we should go to Man Full of Trouble. I'll ask them. I really like, there's another bar called Glory. And Glory has a lot of good space for, like, if we wanted to have a party. But maybe Man Full of Trouble is more apt, right? It's more sort of historic and kind of closer to what the subscribers want, right? So I could ask them. They ran out of, absconded with the funds. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I know. The vitamin D I need, and the sleep. I haven't been sleeping well. All right, so for tasks, need to organize a meetup. Organize, let's just focus on Tamanend Day. That's one thing at a time. Organize Tamanend Day. Now, by the way, I got a camera for the channel. It's a cheap, I got a used camera, but it does 4K. It shoots in 4K. And I've been fiddling with it, and I wasn't sure. I was about to return it because honestly, my phone is good enough usually, but I think it was time for a little upgrade. So I got this. It's called a Sony ZF-1, and it's basically a vlogging camera. It's like very beginner level vlogging camera. Just has this. Can I turn it on? Oh, I don't have the battery in it. But yeah, you know, you can. I can basically, I'll shoot better videos now with it. I got it for like $400. That's what I've earned with the channel. So I just reinvested funds from the channel. And I got this little camera. So hopefully videos will be good going forward. So I need to camera gear finalize that. Because I think I need to get like a case maybe for it, some other stuff, make sure I have enough batteries, that kind of thing. What else do I need to do? I wanted to start doing shorts. Make shorts as in like TikTok style things, you know, for YouTube. Short clip TikTok style short clips. What else should I do? Should I start Instagram? I don't really want to. I don't like social media, guys. I don't like social media at all. It's a pain in the butt. so I'm not gonna do that. Maybe later. Maybe I'll do TikTok and Instagram later. I want to plan out 50 videos for this year, because I think part of the thing right now that's tough is I'm sort of doing this flying by the seat of my pants. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do this weekend yet. I sort of make it up as I go. And I think I can do a better job for you all if I plan it out and I do the research like I showed you with all, or I go through archaeological papers and I do a little bit more of that ahead of time. Then I can plan it out better, and the quality of the videos will be better. So if I can plan out 50 videos for this year, for 2026, then I can do one, and then I can also batch them. Like last year, I had to go out. I went out of the country to my brother's wedding in Taiwan, and before I did that, I filmed like 3 or 4 videos so that over the weekends while I was gone, before and after, also I needed a weekend before and a weekend after the trip. So I needed four weekends worth of videos. So I went and I filmed all of them ahead of time, and it worked really well. So if I plan out 50 videos and then just batch them, I could probably film all of the year's videos in the summer and then start on 2027 videos in the fall, something like that. That'd be cool. And then I could get ahead of it. I could also spend more time on each video making them better in the editing. Plan 50 videos. What else? Oh, respond to all the emails. Jesus. Respond to emails and start email newsletter. I will do this. I have been, man, for months I've been on my own. I've been like promising I would do it, and I haven't done it. Email newsletter. Yeah, that's pretty good for now. I think that's pretty good. I think those are the big things that I need to start now. And then that'll set myself up for success. So let's call this to-do list January 2026. And we'll just say comment and then complete. And then the comment is contact. We'll do Man Full of Trouble. I like Glory personally. It's a great bar, but I don't owe them anything, and I think we'd all enjoy Man Full of Trouble better. So we'll organize it there. Next up for camera gear is go over, let's do a practice. I need to acquire more batteries. That's the main thing. Batteries. For the make short clips, test. Do a test clip for shorts. Just practice, really. Choose 50 archaeological sites. Plan them. Put them on the calendar. Put them on the calendar. Batch them. Yeah. Oh, man, I can't even spell batch with an E. Where's that E coming from? Holy moly. Respond to emails. That's pretty much just got to get it done. And then newsletter. I'd like to write 12 newsletters ahead of time so that I at least have something to send out every month. in case that month I am more neglectful. I just got to get better at emails. That's it. Just respond. Let's do respond to all 2025 emails by end of month. Okay. So there you go, folks. I think I'm going to call it here. I think we're going to wrap this up soon. Was there anything anything else I should let me check the public library dining room. They have good Wi-Fi there. Public library dining room, not a bad idea. Yeah. Tom Jones, yeah. Taylor Arboretum, that's cool. That's a good idea. I like Taylor Arboretum. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here too. For sure. You know, Osmo DJI. I I've thought about it. I've definitely thought about it. Um, yeah, and I think Desert Drifter also used an Osmo DJI. Let me just gonna X out of this and just make sure I'm talking about the same thing you are. I've definitely thought about it. Osmo, yeah, the Pocket 3 or whatever. The thing is, they're so expensive. They're like 500, 600 bucks. And this camera costs like 400 bucks. So I saved some money and I got 4K. That's what I wanted. So, you know, maybe it's good enough for now and I saved some money, right? And then if I really want to, eventually I can upgrade. If this thing for some reason really doesn't do it, you know, maybe I can upgrade. Oh, this one's for 235 bucks, but yeah. Interesting. It's definitely something I've thought about because Desert Drifter had something like that too. The main thing is it needs to be like the Osmo is good. It needs to be compact because this thing is super light and I could just it's so small like it fits in my hands like this. You know, I can hold it. It's like look at this. Here's a prehistoric hand axe for comparison. You know, like look at that. So it's basically a little bigger than a hand axe. Here's my Leatherman. You know, it's this smaller than a Leatherman. So, you know, it needs to be basically small and compact and lightweight so that I can carry it around and just kind of whip it out whenever I want to take a video or something. So, yeah, this Osmo Pocket 3 might be a better idea. I'm not sure though. Not sure. I feel like there was some reason why I didn't want to buy it. I wanted to get like a serious camera that I could like really fiddle with all the features and learn how to do certain things like the white balance or the what do they call it, ISO. I wanted to fiddle with the shutter speed and the you know, have an actual lens, get some lens filters, shutter speed, the frame rate, like f-stops, like the frame rate, the different color balancing effects. Like I don't know anything about the DJI Osmo Pocket, but I don't know if it has all that. Like it certainly doesn't have like other lenses and filters you can put on it, right? Like it's this weird gimbal-y thing. So I don't know. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I went for something else, and I think I'm okay with my choice. So, yeah, one video at a time, man. That's how it goes. So, boy, oh boy. Okay, guys. I think I'm gonna sign off here. Man, this has been a great stream. How long have we been going? I don't even know. I don't even know how long I've been going, but it's been a long time. And I think I started at like 7:45, something like that. So probably 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 hours. 4 hours. It's pretty cool. Thanks for staying up with me all this time, everyone. Um, yeah, if you have any last questions, leave them in the chat. But I think I'm gonna go to bed. I don't know if you can see, but he's already in bed. Although he looks like he's having fun. He's playing around. Hey, dude, you want to come say goodbye to the live stream, Abe? He, okay, he really wants to play. I'm gonna go play with Abe for a little while and then go to bed. So, thanks again, everyone. If you like this, I'll just keep doing live streams. I think Thursday night does work for me. Thursday nights, I've done it 2 Thursdays in a row, and I think we'll keep it up. I might even add another night because this is fun. I just want to stream as much as possible, and then make as much content as possible for you all. And yeah, I think that's about it. Don't forget to celebrate or read Common Sense by Thomas Paine. The anniversary is on Saturday. I may do a video about that because that's pretty easy for me to do. And it's important. It's an important one. I think it would fit with Saul Good. Let me know if you agree with that or not as a parting comment. Should I do Thomas Paine or do something more ancient? If I do an ancient site, it'll have to be on Sunday, and I have to figure it out. Like, I don't know where I'm going to go yet, but I'll figure something out. Could even just do Passyunk Avenue, which is an ancient road. So, but yeah, let me know what you think of that idea. Common Sense by Thomas Paine on Saturday, or something more ancient. All right, I think that's it, everybody. Good night, and hope you all sleep well. Peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.